Hey guys, welcome back to the Rusty Beauty's Garage and to the 1972 Triumph GT6 by the name of Anna. It's named Anna after the daughter of the gentleman who donated this car to me 7 years ago, I believe. Hey Keith. So in 2017, 2018, we did a lot of work on the car. We brought it to pretty much this stage, and then the project stalled for a pretty long period of time. Then we started again, we rebuilt the engine, and then we stalled it again for another year. But now we are back on the car, and I am determined to finish it this time. No, it's not gonna be my main focus. Unfortunately, I have to focus on official work, which is again working on Triumphs, but for customers. So that's in my spare time. But in my spare time, this is gonna be my focus. Until now, my focus was on this car, which is my son's car. It's not ready yet, it's gonna be ready soon, but I'm starting already to overlap a little bit with my own car here. So like I said, the engine was rebuilt a year and a half ago, but it was never started. So now with David's help, Chef Tash, we are trying to put it together and start the engine and continue the restoration from there. In the previous episode, I wanted to test the transmission here before I install it in the car. This transmission didn't come with the car. I bought it separately with a D-type overdrive, and I didn't know the condition of it, so I wanted to test it before I put it on the car. I took the cover off and we found some serious issues with it. So the transmission is now in this condition. It's taken apart and I'm ready to order parts for it so I can put it back together. But we have a Spitfire transmission video that we posted recently, so I'm not filming this in detail. However, there were parts missing in this transmission, in particular some of these springs and balls. They were literally missing. We found one spring which is not complete, there are parts of it missing, and there's 2 more springs that are missing and 3 balls. So unfortunately, we believed that they might be inside the overdrive, or they might be taken out. I don't know, maybe somebody opened the cover and took them out. I have no idea what happened, but I need to make sure that 100% they're not inside the overdrive. And that is why in this video we're gonna take this overdrive apart and we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna make sure that there's no foreign objects inside. While we are there, we're gonna change gaskets and seals and O-rings, and hopefully no other parts are gonna be needed. And then I'm gonna order parts for the transmission and overdrive, and then we're gonna put it back together. So I'm hoping all this to happen in this video, but might take more than one video since we're gonna have to order some of the parts. I don't have the O-rings and I don't have anything, so we might need to wait for a while for some of the parts to arrive. So anyways, that's gonna be the subject of our today's video, the D-type overdrive. Alright, so let's get crack-a-lacking here. We're gonna use this beautiful workshop manual that was generously donated by a gentleman by the name Harvey Hoover, and thank you so much, Harvey. It is a beautiful book, actually. Good resolution pictures and contrast and everything. You can actually see what's there, because you know, some of the manuals from that time by now are really badly damaged and you can't see anything on them. So we have right here in group 2, actually, we have the exploded view of a D-type overdrive, which is great because I've never done a D-type overdrive until now. I've done multiple A-types, I've done multiple J-types, and I have videos about them. I can actually put links maybe in the description. I'm gonna put links to all these videos and playlists, but I haven't done a D-type, so that's gonna be a first time for me. Here we have instructions for dismantling, and we have instructions for reassembling after that. So I'm hoping that everything is gonna go well. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. So first of all, I want to test the solenoid. I want to see if it is working. It is the same solenoid apparently as an A-type overdrive, which is the better option. The J-type solenoid is much more expensive because it includes the valve, the operating valve. The A-type is separate from the valve. It has a lever inside that operates the valve. The serial number doesn't tell me anything. It says 25/61959 so it doesn't tell me much, but here is the lever that the solenoid should operate. So where do we have a good ground? Let's put it on the screw there. Yes, works just fine. That's good. In this case, let's remove it. This can stay there. We don't need to take it out for now. So first let's remove this adapter plate from here. Now it says next to secure the overdrive on a vise and remove the bridges. Okay, we can do that. Now these are special lock nuts, but I see one is not, which is interesting. And this one is something else. This one still has the tub washer. Now these tub washers are really hard to find, and years ago somebody actually told me, one of you guys told me where to buy them. He actually bought a whole bunch of them and he sent me some. Problem is I don't know where I put them, don't tell anyone. Yeah, somehow I lost them. This is what the tub washer looks like. So these are the bridges that get pushed by the pistons. And the pistons are right here behind. So here we have springs. So that's different from A-type and J-type. The pistons push directly on these bridges and the bridges pull the carriage up. So this is the carriage for the clutch. These 4 studs, they go down there, and that's where the clutch is moving up and down. Okay. Next we're gonna start loosening the 8 nuts and studs that are holding the rear housing to the front housing with the brake plate in the middle. We're gonna start loosening them equally on all sides because we have springs inside that are gonna start pushing things apart, and we don't want anything to twist inside. So these are 7/16. I don't know what kind of paint this is, but it is making the screws bigger. So maybe it's a high build primer, you know, because it's making the screw heads or the nuts bigger. You know what? They're all loose now, but the friction of the studs is holding things together. They're not separating, you know. So before I start taking nuts out, I'm gonna give it a tap with my lead hammer. Just make sure that okay, now they're all out. So there you go. So this is our brake plate, remained on the body here, and this is where the clutch engages. This is the clutch material here, and this is the taper with which the clutch engages when the overdrive is on. When it is off, that's when these return springs are pushing it back down towards the annulus. So we're gonna withdraw these. They are a little bit bigger diameter and longer than the other 2 springs, so we won't mess them up. Now this clutch here, what it is a tapered dish that has clutch material on the outside and clutch material on the inside as well. So like we said, when the overdrive is engaged, the clutch is pushed towards this taper here on the brake plate. When it is disengaged, the springs are pushing it towards the annulus, and the clutch material that's inside spins the annulus. So very often this seizes, and people send me emails and they ask me what is holding it there. My clutch carriage doesn't come out. So it's usually just stuck there and it needs one of these. There you go. Here we have a plate that I have to remember. Okay. So this is our clutch, and this is our sun gear that engages with the planets on the carrier, and this is the clutch material inside. So we're gonna inspect that, and it looks like we have a lot of clutch material. Sometimes we don't have enough, and that's when the overdrive slips. I recently experienced that with an overdrive. It works just fine, but if you forget it on and you go from first to second, it was an A type, so it works in second. So if you forget it on and you go from first to second, but the overdrive is engaged, so you go from first to second with overdrive, all of a sudden now the wheels are not spinning fast enough, but the engine is pushing hard because it has pretty much a lot of torque in second gear, and the clutch just starts slipping. So I know for a fact that that clutch is not great. So here the sun gear, I don't think we're gonna take it apart, but it looks like you have to remove a circlip from here, and then you can withdraw it this way. There's a bearing here that also is in a good shape, so we're not gonna take any of this apart, we're just gonna clean it. This is the planet carrier, and for A-type it has alignment. For J-type it doesn't have an alignment. For D-type, in the menu it shows that it has an alignment, so let's find it. So these are the three planets. This is the planet carrier. We need to make sure that we don't have play on these. They spin nicely, so again, we don't need to do anything here. But alignment means that there must be a mark somewhere on this gear, on one of these teeth. I don't see that mark. Let's see another gear. Here, this one has a dot here. I don't know if you see it, but it has a dot on this tooth right here. So this dot needs to align with this mark here, and same here and here we need to find. So that's when we are assembling it. For now, again, this assembly is also good. We're not gonna take it apart, but if you wanna take it apart, there's dowels that are run through here and hold these shafts in place. You can take them out and repair them and replace bearings inside or whatever. Here we're good. This is the annulus, which unfortunately I'm gonna have to take out. This inside is the notorious unidirectional clutch. So this thing spins inside in only one direction. If you try to spin it in the other direction, you can't, because all these rollers on the side have little ramps on the race, on this inner race. So when they go this way, they're going down the ramps, so now you can spin it. But if you try to spin it the other way, they have to climb the little ramps, and as they're climbing the little ramps, they force themselves into the outer race, which actually is the housing of the annulus. It's not, there's no outer race. That's how it works. This one works well. We're not gonna take it apart, but I can put a link here again to a video in which for J-type we take apart and we put together the unidirectional clutch, which is exactly the same as this one. So to take the annulus out, we're gonna have to remove this nut from here, pull the flange out and take everything apart, but we're gonna do that later. We're gonna follow now the instructions. Let's see what's next. All right, it's a few days later, and unfortunately I've done something stupid again. I make this mistake very often. I forget to press the recording button, and then when I finish whatever I thought I was recording, I press the button, and now I start recording while I'm moving my camera to the next and setting it up for the next frame and whatever, and then I press the button again to start recording, but I'm actually stopping recording right now. So this way I lost 2 clips, and I'm gonna have to reshoot them now because they are important. But to keep things in order, you're gonna have to imagine that everything else here is still assembled. I'm gonna show you that after I have those clips, but I'm missing the operating valve disassembling. So let me put that together and I'll show you how it comes back out. All right, let's play that game. Oh, so the next step is to remove the operating valve. So we're gonna undo the nut without the wrench because our fingers are strong. Not that it was loose already, you know. And there's a spring inside, and that spring pushes on a plunger. Let me show you. There's our plunger down there, and if we take a magnet, we can pull the plunger out together with the bow that it presses on. And the actual operating valve stem we're gonna pull out with the magnet as well. That's it. The operating valve, you see, this is the open part goes to the top, and at the bottom right here it has a little hole, and this hole is connected to this hole here. So we need to blow through this hole air, compressed air, and make sure that there's no debris inside, because if there's debris here, then the whole overdrive might not work if just this stem is plugged. So that's it. Okay, the next step is the non-return valve and the oil pump. And for the oil pump, again, imagine that we haven't taken any of this out. We're gonna take it out later. So we undo the cap. Here inside we have another spring and another plunger. And again the plunger, and there's another bowl down there. The plunger is the exact same size as the other one. They're even the same part number, I believe. So that's how the spring and the plunger go together. But the bow inside is smaller than the operating valve bow. Maybe like this. There you go. So let me give you a comparison between the two bows. So this is the non-return valve bow, and this is the operating valve bow. You see the difference? So that's how these 3 parts go together with the plug as well. So that's everything that's on top of the non-return valve body. Now the non-return valve body also needs to come out, and then the whole pump comes out this way, but for that we need special tools. This body has 2 flat sides on these sides, and I don't even know what the special tool looks like. And if we really need to take it out, then we have to figure out something. But for now, I'm not gonna put too much effort in it. I'm gonna try to take it out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We are here just to clean up, you know. I don't think there's any O-rings there that need to be changed or anything. So we're just gonna try quickly, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're just gonna leave it there. Now here on the side we have this screw, which is pump locating screw. So the screw is coming out easy. That's what it looks like. And let's take needle nose pliers and see how hard is it gonna be to. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. If we really need to remove it, then we're gonna have to fabricate this special tool. So it says screw the spindle into the pump body, position the adapter against the casing, and screw the wing nut down, and that extracts the pump body. But I don't think we need to. So I'm just gonna put back the locating screw, and we're gonna forget about this pump. Okay, so next in this case is gonna be the filter, which is located behind this cover. So let's take this out. Okay, so this is a cork gasket, but there must be magnetic rings again, which I don't see. So this is the filter, has some sludge on it. Wow, lots of sludge on it. Yeah, that's disgusting. Okay, we're gonna wash this in the parts washer, but I didn't see any magnetic rings anywhere. And the manual is talking about magnetic rings. Let's take this out so I can see better. Yeah, there's nothing. But there's lots of sludge inside there. So it says, remove the cover plate, withdraw the filter, 3 magnetic rings, and the rubber steel bonded sealing washer. Is this sealing washer here? Oh, okay. This is the rubber steel, I guess, or oh, these are the magnetic rings, and this is the rubber steel washer. Okay, I'm gonna go wash this quickly. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So this is the rubber steel bonded washer, which looks like rubber to me. Same on both sides. And these are the 3 magnetic washers. So they were going like this. Are they fitting inside? Yeah, they fit inside here. And then this washer. Okay, so let's remove also this drain just so we can clean it properly, because it goes into the same cavity here, right? This is where we drain the transmission from, or the overdrive. There's a copper washer here, and this is the relief valve here, so we need to remove the relief valve as well, which is bigger. So we have a big spring here, and then we have a big plunger. There we go. There's 2 washers here. It's interesting. So looks like somebody added these washers to increase the tension of the spring. You know what I mean? Because this spring was here pushing down. So somebody added these washers. So maybe it's a good idea to buy a new spring for here to make sure that we have good tension there. And last but not least, we have the relief valve body down there, which I don't know if we're gonna be able to take out. Again, we're gonna need a special tool for that, but you know what, I'm not taking it out. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there. We can clean it as it is. Oh, somehow we were able to remove this plunger of the solenoid too. Okay. All right. Now I'm debating whether to remove this lever here. Maybe it's a good idea, except I'm not sure how. There's a rope in that goes through this block and through the shaft. Here you can see it better, right here. So if we push this rope in out, we're gonna be able to withdraw this lever with shaft. And the only reason why I want to do that is because probably there's an O-ring inside that we're gonna be able to change. It came out. Okay. Good boy. There you go. So that's how it goes. Let me see inside here. Yeah. So there's an O-ring here, you see? And it is as hard as it's actually cracked. So good idea. The last thing that we need to take out is the pistons. We should have done that earlier, you know, because now I don't know how we're gonna take them out. Yeah, of course you need a special tool for that, and I don't have it, and I'm mad at myself because I should have blown air into the operating valve from the very beginning. As soon as we removed the bridges from here, we could have just removed the operating valve, blow air through it, and the pistons were gonna come out. Now it's too late because we took everything else, so now we can't create compression inside. But I have an idea. So what if we shove a piece of hose here like this, and then put something inside, something like this broken screwdriver. Is that gonna work? There you go. And we want to take them out so we can replace the O-rings, right? So we're basically creating a rubber wedge. Come on. Okay, that actually came out much easier. Alright, pistons are out. And I think with this body we are done. I'm not gonna take anything else out. I'm just gonna wash it in the parts washer. Maybe we're gonna clean this ugly paint from here, and we're gonna be ready for assembling it when we get all the O-rings. Let's take the annulus out. I'm not going to remove the unidirectional clutch, but if you want to remove it, there's this big circlip here. I don't know if you see it. This is its ends here and here. So if you remove that, this plate comes out and then you can withdraw it. But then you're going to need a special tool. Some people go with rubber bands and stuff, but I'm going to show you a video of how to assemble it. So we're not going to take anything apart from the annulus on this side. We're going to take the whole annulus out, and for that we're going to withdraw the speedometer drive gear from here, because there's O-rings and seals inside that we want to change too, and it's engaged with the speedometer gear, which is on the annulus. So we want to take that out, otherwise we might break it. So this is the retaining screw. Here we have slots on the side for a wrench, but I don't know what size, so I'm gonna find something. Okay, have a whole bunch of these that I don't even know what they're for, but we're gonna use this to withdraw it. Don't want to damage the threads, right? There you go. So you see there's this O-ring here, and this somehow comes apart, and we have a seal inside. So let me take this away. This is the drive gear. Let's see if we can undo this. Wow. No, this is slipping, so we need bigger than this, smaller than that. Regular wrench won't fit, it's too wide. This is narrow there. I have an idea. Don't tell anyone. Wow. It bends my wrench. How is it so tight? Forgot about this part. Some of these have a pin inside here. So we're gonna have to drill it out because there's a seal inside that I definitely want to replace because my Spitfire constantly leaks from there. That was easy, so I'm guessing it was an aluminum pin or something. Okay, so here's the seal that we want to replace. And yes, it feels like plastic, so yeah, good idea to replace it. Now we have to figure out how to pull this out. Came out. So it was, I'm guessing it was aluminum or aluminium, as you may want to call it. So we're gonna figure out how we're gonna jam something else there later, or we're just gonna put thread lock on it. It doesn't really matter. So that's a part, and now we can remove this nut from here, pull out this flange, and we draw the annulus that way. And again, the only reason why we're doing that is to find if there's anything inside that doesn't belong there, and also to change this seal on this side. So now here we obviously have two bearings, and we have a distance pins inside and maybe some shims that prevent the nut here from pushing too hard on the flange and putting preload on the bearings. We don't have any play here, so we're just gonna keep the configuration as it is. We don't need to, I'm not gonna measure any tolerances or anything. As long as we're not changing bearings, everything should be the same as before. We're gonna just put the same amount of spacers, shims, and whatever is down there, and we're gonna torque this nut to whatever the spec is, and we're gonna be in the same position. So now let's remove this split pin from here. So this is 1 1/8. That's how you put splinters in your fingers, you know? If there's a splinter here, it goes right into your finger. So do that at your own risk. Okay. I'm just gonna tap it gently and see if it is gonna come out easy, because now we have the bearing here, right? So we don't want to damage the actual bearing. Lead hammer, so we're not damaging the threads here. Let's see. No play. So okay, so let's go on the press. Okay, so now here we have to support somehow the housing on the side, but we have to make sure that we give enough room in the middle for the annulus to go down without damaging it. And it already protrudes a little bit, so if you put it here, you see it spins. So if we can squeeze this all the way, make sure that the bottom plate is further out than the upper plate. So now we are touching the annulus, so this means that if we pull out just a little bit, we should be good. Okay, it's going easy, not too much pressure. Now at some point the annulus is gonna hit here in the back, so very, very gently, right? There you go. I felt resistance, so that's how far I'm gonna go. Needs more. maybe we can hammer the rest out of it. There you go. There you go. Okay, so let's make sure that we don't lose any spacers or anything. So we don't have a shim or anything on the bearing there. Good. And here, this is our spacer. This is our drive gear for the speedometer. And that's it. So bearing is good. You know what? I'm not gonna touch anything here. We're just gonna wash everything. Looks like we didn't find any problems inside. No balls, no springs. So I don't know where they went, but they're not here. And this is what it is. We'll take this seal out because we want to replace it. And the last thing we want to inspect is this bearing, which also seems good. So that's it. We only need seals, gaskets, and O-rings, and we can start assembling it. I mean, wash it and assemble it. Oh, ha! You see, I almost missed it. So that was gonna be a big problem. That's another spacer here. So these are adjustable. I mean, they sell different thicknesses of these spacers. You assemble everything, you torque it, you measure the tolerance, you see if you have how much play you have, and then you add the appropriate thickness of this spacer here, and that's how you do it. But for us, since we're going to be using the same bearings and everything, I don't think we need to change any spacers here. So we're good. Alright, as you can see, I have already some of the parts cleaned and prepared for the assembling process. I even have the housing painted here. I just need to clean this part, the shifting mechanism, and I'm waiting for parts. And actually I already have most of the parts. I'm just missing a few O-rings, and unfortunately I couldn't find them in one place. I had to order the parts in two separate places, so I'm waiting for the parts from the second place to arrive, and then we're gonna be able to assemble. But I want to finish this video already because the weekend is coming and I want to post a video for you. So I think we're gonna split the overdrive work into two separate videos, but that's fine. We're gonna end this one here. Thank you guys so much for staying all the way until the end. Thanks to everybody who is watching, commenting and subscribing and sharing and all that. Also special thanks to the people who are supporting me directly through PayPal and Patreon and all that. Thank you so much, guys. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. I mean, I realized that the Triumph community is so small that I'm never gonna be able to build such a big audience so my YouTube channel becomes self-sufficient. There is just not so many people in the world that are interested in Triumph's ideas. So your direct support is what's keeping this channel alive, and I really appreciate it. If you're not a Patreon and you want to become one, or you want to find a different way to support me, there's links in the description to all kinds of ways to support me a little bit directly, and that would be really appreciated, guys. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.